Morning, everybody, and welcome to this in the morning. 15 minutes to change our lives. Kuntress, we're up to Parak Daled. Yeah, Parak Daled. Exactly. We'll start with some tzedakah. Gedel tzedakah. Shemakareves as Hagyula. Okay. And we're going to learn in honor of all the hostages and specifically and all the soldiers and Yitzchak ben Simcha, and specifically Tomer ben Sigal, that him and all the hostages should come back healthy and safe, and enough of the galus and onto Geula, and to the merit of our learning and our avodah on ourselves and waging our war within ourselves. We'll wage the war. We should help the victory in Eretz Yisrael. Okay, so in the middle, in Maamar Daled, the first parak, there's only one parak. As we discuss over here, we're discussing that basically that even the example in Saita of an adulterous woman, that's not natural. And the reason why it happens is because the Yetzer Hara that fools us, convinces us that we can do these things, we'll get away with it, and nothing happened. And this is a struggle that we all have. And this is sort of what we've been talking about. So now today, yeah, we'll get into it. We're going to go even like that. And like we said in the past, we're reiterating this point that we even become lower than tummy things. Let's see. Okay, Maamar, like it says in Sanhedrin, Yatush Kadmach. Says in Masechta Sanhedrin in the Gemara that a Yatush, a gnat, which is like the lowest of all the insects, is Kadmach, comes before a person that sins. Perush, what does this mean? Daf Yatush, Shemach, even though the Yatush, which is the lowest creature, that what is it? What's its like thing is that it puts in and it doesn't take out. Meaning it does nothing positive. It just gives bad, and it doesn't give anything good. Which is the lowest form of klippa, the lowest level klippa, from the level of kedusha, and it's most distant from kedusha. That it gets its life force from the ultimate distant from kedusha. It's like the end of the end of the end. Nevertheless, it's kedemes leishachete b'ishtashlos v'yiridas achayus miratzon elin baruch hu. It nevertheless, as low as it is, the seder ishtashlos, the descent of Hashem's life force to create things, it becomes above us when we do avera. Shachayus shel ha'ish achayte hu b'chinas hester panim b'chinas richuch harbi yosim achayus nishbal layatush. Because, like it says in the brackets, that the chayus, the life force of the person that sins, is in the level of concealment of Hashem's countenance, in the level of distance, even way more than the yatush, than this gnat. And he'll explain, it's very obvious. If we've been paying attention until now, you'll understand why. And so much more so, all the other unclean animals, meaning not kosher, even wild animals, of kudase, because none of them changed their mission. Yisbarach Sham utafkidei Yisbarach, and Hashem fulfilling Hashem's purpose for them. They all do what Hashem wants them to do. Sham Rucham, and He guards their spirits. Even if they don't recognize necessarily, Kalemar bli hagashasam, without their noticing, they don't say, "Oh, Hashem's taking care of me," and "Oh, I'm so good," or "I'm so bad." They have no recognition of that, but they're just doing what they're meant to be doing. Are you okay? Come, go on. So anyway, and how much more so all the Baalei Chayim, all the unclean animals, I feel like even the wild animals, Shekulam, Einam, Meshanim, Tafkirim, and to go against their purpose. Even though they don't recognize it, but nevertheless, like Moshe God says in like it says, like it says in Bereshis, Moirachem, Vechitchem, Ye al kol chayes haaretz, that the fear of Hashem, that the fear of Hashem and the dread of Hashem will be on all the face of the earth. Okay, the Perish and the rabbis explain in Shabbos, Masechta Shabbos, what does that mean? Ein chaya ra sheletes ba'adam ach nidmen la kebehema. An animal, even though they don't sense it, what we said, like they don't feel it like you're consciously, but they have a natural fear of Hashem. And that's why that the animal will only be disrespectful to us if he doesn't recognize us as that godliness that we are. And therefore, a tzaddik, that the image of Hashem does not depart from them. Kol chayus rois is kafyan kamayu. All the wild animals nullify themselves to them. Like it says in the Zohar in regards to Daniel in the lion's pen. And they threw Daniel into the lion's pen, expecting that he'd be destroyed and eaten up. And nothing. Because the Tzelem Elokim, the godly image, they didn't give into the Yetzer Hara in simple sense. That's what it is. They had control of the Yetzer Hara, and the Yetzer Hara didn't get in the way. So the animal saw them as an extension of Hashem. And by nature, the animal connects to Hashem, doesn't want to doesn't do anything bad to Hashem. Because, like he says in Bereshis, that the fear of Hashem will be on the animals. Even though they don't recognize it, they don't say, this person, it looks to me, they don't think, but it's natural. By nature, the animal respects godliness. And therefore, the tzaddikim, that they have that Tzelem Elokim, so it works. And therefore, and that's why nothing happened, like in the case of Daniel. And therefore, and therefore, when a person goes against Hashem's will and he doesn't have Aveira, at that time when they're doing the Aveira, we become very like the ultimate separation from Hashem's holiness, which is the unity and the yichud and the oneness with Hashem. Yes, mikol ba'alei chayim tmeim, even more than all these impure animals and shkatzim and creepy crawlies or amashim and all reptiles that get their life force from Sitra Achra. Meaning, even though all these animals that are not kosher, are not clean, are getting their life force from Klip and Sitra Achra, nevertheless, unfortunately, when we do the wrong thing, we get it from even lower level. And like we explained before, because of our potential, we can be Daniel, and we can go into the lion's den, and nothing can happen to us. And that's how it should be. Meaning, by nature, we have that ability. But we have the challenge of Yetzer Hara, and the Yetzer Hara comes, and then makes it hard, and then we can't go into the lion's den. And no one should try it. But that's what we're showing you. We have to, meaning, the underlying point that the Rebbe Rashab is saying here, if you think about it, is your greatness is your biggest challenge. And that's sort of the challenge. Like one time there was a story that a person said, he said, I'm not afraid when I go to Shemayim that I did all these various mistakes. I'm afraid that I didn't achieve as much as I could. They're going to come tell me, say, you could have been so much more. And this is what the Rebbe Rashab is showing us. We could be so much more. We have to realize that, like, you could be much greater than this. And this is what we're saying here. To continue. Well, besides everything we said until now, besides what we said until now, we've been talking about that through doing an Aveira, we separate ourselves and our life force becomes the lowest out of everyone. Through doing the Aveira, Hine al yidei zeh gam kein nifgam nafshay v'nifsak melakus. Another issue that happens is that our soul gets disconnected from godliness. Like it says in the Geras HaTshuva in Tanya, Parak Hey, The Perush, Yaakov, Chavan Nachalas, it talks about Yaakov is the rope of his inheritance. We talked about it yesterday. I told you we're going to talk about it. Now we cut to him. Now, what's a rope? Shehu Chevel Hamakasher Haneshama Lalikus, which is a rope that connects the person with godliness. There's a rope between us and Hashem. Just like a rope, the rope connects the top and the bottom, the two sides. Which is the connection of the souls of Anashama, which is the lower level Hey in Hashem's name, meaning from Atzilus being brought down into our body. And it comes down to being clothed within the body of a person. And now we're going to discuss this rope, and we're going to talk about what happens when we do an Avera. Just like, for example, just like a thick rope. Just like a thick rope that's wound together to 613 strands. So to the rope that we were talking about before, just like a rope, like when you have a, I hope everyone has that image in their mind. You have a rope, and one of those thick ropes, you see by boats or ships, they have a thick rope, and that rope there's all these little strings. So that's what we're saying. There's 630 little strands on this one thick rope. And remember, this rope is synonymous, is the rope that's connecting us with Anashama, the source of Anashama up above. And it's this 613 strands are representative of all the mitzvahs. So when we go, we don't do one of the mitzvahs we should be doing. So we take scissors, these little scissors, and do a little cut in it. And therefore, so not just we cut off that little piece, it weakens everything. And if we unfortunately did something that it's chayiv kare, so it went to be cut off totally, nifsak hachevel legamri. And then that whole rope is totally cut off. And the soul is totally disconnected. V'nimtza mash al yedei hasasa hanal. So it comes out through this, what we're doing. So therefore, when we understand this, so then why would I cut myself off? I would never want to do that. So why? So how does it come about? This is because the ruach shtus, meaning when we think about it, it's like let me do an avera. Come, let me cut a little bit of this. So you would never say to ourselves, "Are you crazy?" I would never do that. But we still know that we do it. So what's going on over here? So why we do it is because we don't recognize this. The ruach shtus says, "Shh, don't look at that. Don't look at that. Keep on going. Enjoy. Don't think about that." And that's why if you do think about it in that way, it'll make it a lot easier. But if you wouldn't be fooled by this Yitzchak and fall into this trap, as I am, as we see the truth the way it is, which is and if we recognize that through that sin, we're going to separate ourselves from the unity and the oneness of Hashem and bring ourselves to the total depths and to the Sitra Achra and a clip of Avodah Zarah. If we thought that when we did that, Hashem should guide us from this. And it'll make a blemish within our soul. Because we have a natural love for Hashem, and we can't be separated from godliness. We would never get to such a stage. And this is ultimately what we're saying. The reality of life is that we don't recognize it, and our job is to try to become sensitive to it. It's like, imagine a person trying to lose weight, and so they look at a donut. So what are the girls in your head? I really want this. I want to eat it. It's so good. It's so yummy. Yeah. But then there's like a little voice. Yeah, but it's all good for no one to have it. But imagine if you take the donut and you could see a picture of yourself and what it does to you, what it actually does to you, then it would be a lot easier. It'd be a lot easier to overcome it. And that's what we're saying here. The Rabbi Shabbos trying to explain to you what it does. We look at it very, everyone has a different version of what they think about it. Oh, it's not the right thing to do. And he's telling us, it's not just not the right thing to do. This is what it does. And he's giving us all these pirushim. What does it actually do to you? You cut yourself off in this rope. It separates you from Hashem. You become, your life force you get it from a lower place. And he's trying to show you this when you realize, like, whoa, this is what it is. I didn't realize. I don't want to do that. And that's what we're saying here. The kitzur. Hachayte garua miyatush. Someone that sins is worse than the ganat, like we said. Gami balei maybe even from unclean animals, the chayis royas and wild animals. Sheshemim kudasa yisbarach gam negativam, and they follow Hashem's instructions and do their job. They're good soldiers, and they do their job even if it's against their nature. The noise of lazeh shehu nifrad. Miachdusa yisbarach. Besides the fact he becomes separated from Hashem and his unity, upoigem b'nimei nishmasei. And affects the strands of his neshama, bifsikas, chut, hachevel, ulesibas, and cutting the strings, ulesiba, and the cause of this, haruach shtus, ein adam magish bezer. And because of the ruach shtus, we don't feel this. And this is the challenge of life, being sensitive to this. It all happens, we maybe know about it, but now we're meant to learn how to be sensitive to it. And that finishes the Maamar Daled, up to Maamar, on to Maamar Hey, tomorrow with Hashem. Everyone should have an amazing day. Should be sensitive, make the right choices, and celebrate the little victories. Have a good day.